Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in again to Tampa Bay Talks. Here at DuPont Registry Tampa Bay, we like to spend our time seeing on what's going on in the area and also highlighting places that we can help. Certainly our favorite thing to do is learn about other organizations, what they're doing, and what we can do for them. So I'm proud to introduce you to Ozzie Martinez Jr., and he is going to tell us some exciting stuff about an event coming up November 12th and what they do.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your show. Thank you so much for having me and your listeners listening to me. So, little back story to this is actually a touching event for me. So, I'm a born and raised Miami resident, but I did move to Tampa, the Tampa Brandon area in 2000, 2001. And when the towers came down, it's when I joined the military. I joined the Marine Corps and I recruited out of the Tampa area. So I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Tampa because it's where I decided to make the decision to join the Marines. So we went ahead and last year on Veterans Day did our first tournament, charity golf tournament presented by Rubenstein Law at the Tampa Palms Country Club. A friend of mine is a member there, and he was like, "Ozzie, man, you've been doing your organization for 5 years, and I think it'd be such a great idea to have you at the golf club. Let me go ahead and talk to the pro." And the pro was like, "This is an amazing opportunity. It happens to land on Veterans Day. Let's do it." So we had, I think, 5-6 weeks to plan the event last year, and we ended up getting 48 players signed up. We had enough sponsorship where 12 veterans got to play for free in the tournament, and that was an amazing opportunity for us. So as soon as the tournament ended, they were like, "Are we going to do next year?" And I was like, 100% we're doing next year. So you brought it up in our first initial email was, how is it that we're doing these events, or how has COVID changed,
Right.
our events and stuff like that. And for us, what we actually do, so I'm 100% disabled for post-traumatic stress and a mild traumatic brain injury from IEDs. And what we do is we take combat wounded veterans and now first responders that suffer from PTSD. We take them inshore and offshore fishing all over the U.S. We've done fishing trips in Charleston, South Carolina, Tampa, of course, Miami, the Keys, West Palm, you name it, we've done it. So what we do is we take these veterans and first responders offshore, and we do have, or inshore, and we do have sometimes a therapist on board and stuff. So COVID has changed because when it first kicked off, we had down here in Dade County, we had regulations. Charter captains were no longer allowed to take 6 people out. They were only allowed to take 4 people out.
Right.
So it was ironic because a charter captain could take 4 people out under their license, but if I have a boat that fits 10, I could take easily the 10 people out as long as they keep social distancing. So that kind of changed. So what we ended up doing was for the whole COVID time, we dedicated doing inshore trips. And on these inshore trips, we would just have 2 veterans per boat or 2 first responders per boat. And that worked out great because what we ended up creating was like a buddy system. And ironically, some of these veterans, some live out of state. We fly them in. So we fly in all our veterans, then we pay them. We pay for their flight. We pay for their lodging. We pay for their meals for the time that we have them, whether it's in Tampa or in Miami. And then we pay for their fishing. We usually like to have them for 3 days, 4 days in town because of weather. If in case one day the fishing trip gets canceled, we have another day to do it. But if weather's great your whole time here, you get lucky and you get multiple fishing days like our last group that we had here. So that's what we do. And like how you had asked at the beginning, COVID, it did change for us where now we can't take that huge group because at first I wanted to build the camaraderie feeling of what it felt like being back in a unit and stuff like that. And the whole purpose behind it is there's things that are going on in our mind and in our brain that don't stop from war, or if you're a first responder, don't stop from when you take off your uniform. It's there's things you don't want to bring home, and your spouses will ask, "How was your day at work?" And for instance, there's a gentleman that I mentor that he's a homicide detective. He can't talk to his wife about how his day was at work. So he can only talk about that with other like-minded individuals. And that's the purpose behind our organization. We want to create a camaraderie and a feeling between these individuals where this is somebody that you can release that pressure from. So then you could be a better husband, a better wife, a better mom and dad, because honestly, when you come home with that and it's a pack that you can't unload here at home, you start having more arguments, you start snapping more, and I've done it. So that's why this organization is so personal to me, because I'm doing it because what I end up doing is I talk to a lot of these individuals that we take fishing beforehand. They all hear my story of how, I hit rock bottom in 2014 where I was suicidal. I was hooked on, illicit drugs. I was doing cocaine, very, very strong, and abusing my medication and alcohol. And I got to the point where I just didn't want to live anymore. And I just didn't want to live that life. But it's because I felt alone. There was nobody that I could talk to about my experiences in Iraq, here back at home in Florida, in Miami, unless I would find a veteran, or but then when you find a veteran, you talk for a little bit. You guys didn't surf together. It's not the same experiences that you guys share. So you don't see somewhat eye to eye. And what worked for me was a reunion that we had in 2014, marking the 10-year anniversary of us in Fallujah. And that reunion was in California at my gunnery sergeant's campsite that he had. I had some land, and we were all camping and stuff. And I started bringing up conversations of feelings I had. And, does anybody else here ever just want to end their life or anything like that? And I had to ask him multiple times because it's a very dark question, but finally got answered by a couple guys. And they were like, Martini, they used to call me Martini, short for Martinez. They were like, Martini, yeah, I've tasted my barrel before. I've tasted the barrel of my gun before, so that shows you that what it did for me, it showed me that that person has seen that darkness that I've seen. And it released such a pressure off of me that I was like, wow, I'm no longer alone. So when I came home,
big things, small things, everything, we just want to know that somebody else has felt what we're feeling.
yep,
And then
yep,
we can move on together. And I'm so excited to hear. I have now I'm like, now we have to have a meeting. I have a million things to tell you and people that I would love for you to connect with. But I love hearing that the fishing is still able to go on even in a reduced
yes,
capacity. And isn't this how these rules are? Like, yes, you can do it one way or the other, but best to follow the rules. So getting
yes,
people together, fishing, and identifying that you have these similar experiences and feelings is what I'm sure what I keep hearing from other organizations as well, is keeping people from ending their life because of
yep,
PTSD.
yep.
And we have to do better by our veterans, that's for sure. So I really appreciate what you're doing. How is the golf tournament going? Is it full?
The golf tournament right now, it's getting full. I have a couple slots left that I have. Honestly, if if people don't sign up fast, I'm gonna just give the slots to veterans that I have hounding me. Hey, can I play? Can I play? And the reality is, look, our sponsorship has gone through the roof. Behind me, I have sick putters. They're out of Orlando, Florida, and they went ahead and sent out a putter, the same putter that Bryson DeChambeau uses, the guy that just won the U.S. Open,
Yes.
and it's the same exact putter he uses. We ended up getting, then once I posted that, I ended up getting a custom head maker, a club maker, and he made some head clubs for the event, since we're going to be giving this putter away to the closest to the pin. So it's a par 3, you hit it, and if you're the closest to the pin, you're going to win this putter with this putter cover that said hazard, 3 putts are toxic. Because I mean, technically, if you just got that close to the pin, you better be putting it in for a birdie. So they sent that. They went ahead and sent an amazing, an amazing custom cover for your putter. It's made out of genuine python.
Wow.
So it's a luxurious putter cover here. And
The
we
dead snake
all
is a dead
the
snake for me.
yeah, that's it. There you go. You see,
That's how I like to
they
see Python. Thank you.
they've made these covers for me. These are actually neon python, these back here, but
I love neon and I love dead snake.
and then the winner, the winning foursome is going to get these amazing hook and gaff watches.
Oh,
That
wow.
Yeah, so Hook and Gaff is an amazing sponsor we've had throughout since day one of Operation WetVet. This is their luxurious watch, their automatic. The purpose behind it is that the crown is on the left side. So while you're fishing, it doesn't stab you. While you're playing golf, it doesn't stab me here, the little watch thing that adjusts the time. So it's back here and it's not bothering me. If you talk to anybody, I guarantee they have a mark right here on their wrist. If they fish with their watch, if they play tennis with their watch, if they golf with their watch.
Absolutely. I got some customers for that.
Yep. So I'll send you their information. And then we got Arcos Caddy has donated an amazing system that goes on the handles of your club, and they track every stroke for you on your phone. So you kind of what it does at the end of of you playing multiple sessions, let's say, it'll actually tell you how good you're doing in that course. It'll tell you what clubs you should
Christmas
use.
shopping is getting done here, Ozzie.
Yes,
That's
I
a
mean,
great
people can
idea.
come. We have, ironically, the Atlanta Braves. One of the veterans that's coming works for the Braves. He told them, "Hey, this organization's already taken me fishing before. They've flown me down, took care of everything, and I want to do something for them because now they invited me to the golf tournament because I love this veteran. He's an amazing, amazing individual. He's doing what I want other veterans to do, which is get back into the community and break the stigma that PTSD doesn't mean crazy. I talk to so many people that they meet me and they're like, wow, I thought you would be crazy. And I'm like, well, but why? They're because you're 100% disabled for PTSD. And I'm like, but that doesn't mean I'm crazy. Like media and movies have portrayed it where we have these flashbacks and we were going to shoot somebody. And the reality, it's not. Yes, I will have some senses that will trigger something, but it'll be like I'll get a goosebumps and I'll be like, oh my God, that reminded me of Iraq. But I'm not, it's not like that. So he's like that. And he's, back in that, and working with the Atlanta Braves with the fans. He's in charge of their getting a hype crew and stuff like that. So he goes and he's like, Ozzie, man, I love you so much for everything you're doing. I sent you. This is something that you can't even find it on eBay. He's never done this, but it's a Freddie Freeman signed Atlanta Brave bat.
Oh,
He's
that's
their number one
amazing.
star right now. Yeah, he's
Absolutely.
killing it right now. Freddie Freeman sent us a bat. So, I mean, this tournament right now, it's amazing. And the best thing about it is that it's at the Tampa Palms Country Club. It's a private club that you can't play at. But when they close it down on Mondays for maintenance, that's when we do our tournament on Monday. So last year was Veterans Day on a Monday. This year we're doing it November 9th.
Okay.
And yeah,
Then.
so it's not on Veterans Day. It is on November 9th, on Monday, November 9th, in honor of Veterans Day. All right. But there is, once you sign up for the golf tournament, there is a meal, a backyard barbecue style meal that we have. We're going to have wings and burgers and hot dogs after the tournament. And we present the prizes and stuff like that. So if you go to our website at operationwetvet.org, as soon as you go to it, we have this attention on deck sign that pops up and tells you sign up now for our golf tournament. So sign up before it fills up.
Great. I am so excited about this. And you touched on some things for me that, I'm always like, I cannot cry on this recording. I cannot cry, but I'm a 9/11 New Yorker. So everyone who responded and everyone who changed their life and what they did that day
Yep.
means a lot to me. I was on a flight from Germany back to Newark, New Jersey, and I should have landed that morning. So I'm one of the people that went to Canada, and I was on a military base, which you can imagine I'd never been on one before. So the bunk
Where'd you
beds
go?
are
Newfoundland?
we were at Camp Aldershot in Nova
Oh, okay.
Scotia, and
Nova
so
Scotia. Okay.
we had bunk beds with gray flannel kind of blankets, like we were like real soldiers, except for we didn't know what we were doing. But anyway, the hospitality there was amazing. They did a really good job, and they showed so much support for us. Then when you went into the town, there were American flags that they had hung up or made drawings of, and it was a great feeling during a terrible, terrible time. But I really appreciate that. And my grandfather was a U.S. Marine, so you can always know he would be so impressed. And he was an avid fisherman, so he would just love that this is what you're doing. I think he would be, gosh, close to 100 in his early mid 90s maybe, and he would be so happy to know, because I believe that veterans of all ages, of all service, have experienced something that they need to get support for. And you can imagine being that old and having seen and done what they did in those days.
Oh, yeah.
And
They were the greatest generation.
yeah, and not getting on a podcast and having someone say, hey, I've got a group to go fishing, we're going to talk about this, and have a therapist. So I think the greatest thing in life is to be able to take something that was hard for you and make it better for everyone else. So I know you're going to get tons of support. I'm going to be sending your website. I got a couple key golfers that I want to make sure see what you're up to. And I look forward to hearing from you again and seeing how it went. So we will put up operationwetvet.org and list all of your event details, hoping to get you some participation. I know Rubenstein Law has been a huge sponsor for you. And
Yes.
I'm very impressed. I love to see businesses that will put their support behind these really important endeavors.
Yep.
And I'll even see if I can get a little more sponsorship headed your way. So
Let me
thank
know.
you
Each
for what you're
sponsor
doing.
does get each sorry to interrupt you. Each sponsor does get two players that get included with their sponsorship for the tournament.
Okay.
So they would get two players into the tournament for their sponsorship. Plus they get location. They would get a table there, and we would put their logo on a hole. So they're sponsored a
Okay.
hole as well. So
And if someone thinks they're not available to play on that Monday, November 9th, but they could donate for one of the veterans to be able to play, is that right?
right on our website, you could go straight to our website. As soon as like I said, as soon as you go to our website, it's no longer just a nice picture. It's a pop-up that pops up. And as soon as you click learn more, you have the option to buy a foursome, to pay individual player, or to sponsor a veteran. If you just want to sponsor a veteran in there, you could sponsor a veteran. And I believe I left the location for notes, because I will honor any request you have. If you have, for instance, like you, that Marine Corps tight to you because of your grandfather, you say, I want to sponsor a Marine, then I will find a local Marine in Tampa or in Orlando that we could sponsor. If you say you want to sponsor a soldier, an Army guy, or a lady, a Navy, or Coast Guard, whatever, then we'll honor that, and that's what we'll get for you. And you'll have the pictures of everything and all that stuff. So we do allow that. I do want to touch on something though that you did talk about, and mental health is huge for me. And if anybody does listen, and you need any help, and you just don't want to feel alone, please follow myself, because I do have a podcast called Post Traumatic Survival, where I interview individuals that have survived and thrived after trauma. All right. One of them, to include, I would love for you to hear. His name is Tim Brown, and he was the firefighter. He was a firefighter for New York Fire Department, and he was the firefighter in the manager's office, the mayor's manager's office under Mayor Giuliani. So he was in
Mhm.
Tower One when the planes hit. And it's just an amazing story to hear, and how these individuals are surviving and thriving. I don't want people to think that because they're in trauma, that they've been through trauma, that I know they're in a dark zone, they feel alone, and you sometimes feel hopeless, but there is light, and you can use all of that darkness that you have in you to fuel it to make even bigger lights. So it is possible.
I so very much appreciate you sharing that with us today. I'm going to go look that up. I might be able to listen to it on my carpool drive this afternoon. We will be in touch, Ozzie, and thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, Tampa Bay.
Thank you.